Hey guys, happy Monday. So today you're going to get started with your UPSI, your order operations, and your fraction of the day. And then we're going to start a new unit on percentages. So the one thing that I want you guys to leave knowing after watching this video is that a percentage is a fraction. And you have to think of that fraction if that whole was 100. Percentage literally just means per 100. So if your part is broken up into a 100 parts, what do you have? What is that fraction? What is the value of that fraction? That is your percentage. And I'm going to show you the math to be able to figure that out. Also, a huge shout out to the following people who got 100 on their quiz on Friday: Aaliyah, Amadi, Lolo, James, Big Dog James, good job, dog, and Alyssa, Joshi F, Penny, David got 100, Auntie, Ambrose, Gop, and Addie. You guys rock. You guys. Before we get started with our lesson, this is your UPSI. The San Antonio Rodeo makes a profit of $36 for each person that attends the event. This is $36. This is the amount for one person. How much money will the rodeo profit with 150 attendees? There's your order of operations. Your fraction says a coach will recommend a part of his team for a summer league. The coach plans on choosing 1/3 of the team. The team is made of 36 players, so only a part of that group is going to make the summer league. How many players will be recommended for the summer league? Remember from the last 2 weeks we've been talking about how to find a part of a group. Go ahead and solve these and send these to me. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our notes. Let's go to write percent. And then I want you guys to write, and all that means is for every 100. So what does your part look like when it's over 100? Quick little disclaimer about percentages. It's more of a value than a quantity, because a quantity is like 5 dogs, right? You can see the 5 dogs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you say 100% of those dogs are black, you don't really know the quantity unless you see the actual 5 dogs and you know that all of them, right? The value of the dogs that are black is all 5 of them, but that's the quantity, and you don't know the quantity unless you know there's 5 dogs that you're talking about. So percentages are not always, you can't always know exactly what we're talking about. What is that quantity? What does it mean? We just know a value of whatever we're talking about if you see it in percent. For example, if you go to a store and you see that they have a 50% off sale, that 50%, it's a value of every single item. But the quantity that you're actually going to save, the amount of money that you're going to save, it actually depends on what you buy and how much of it do you buy. The value is 50%. The quantity is going to depend on the price of each clothing or each item that you're buying. That's the difference between like the value and the quantity. So how does this all connect? How does this quantity and percent and value connect? It's actually extremely simple. So let me show you the math behind it. So we know that 1/2 equals 50%. This is the percentage that you guys are very, very familiar with. And how do I get this one of the 2 parts into 50%? This also is more of a value than an actual quantity, because you know that 2 parts, we're talking about one of the 2 parts, but you don't know what kind of parts we're talking about, because this could mean one of 2 parts that look like this, but this could also mean this of 6 parts, right? 3 of 6 parts, it's also a half, which is also 50%. So all of these things right here are more of a value than a quantity. So we're going to get these values into percentages, these parts, these fractions into percentages like this. Okay, so what I want you guys to think about is we're going to look at this value as if it was for 100. So if we're looking at a half, how do we get a half into 50%? It's extremely simple. Look, if you had a whole, and your whole was for 100, right? Because that's what percent means. 4 every 100, and you're looking at one part, one half of it, you would break it in half, right? Again, we know that this is 50% because you're very familiar with that. But what if you didn't? What is the algorithm to find 50%? Okay, so what you do, guys, is you actually take your 100 and you break it into two parts. That's going to give you the value of this part. Let me show you what I mean. 100 divided, when you break a total, I'm going to break this total into two parts. 0 on top, 0 on the bottom. That's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's going to be 5 times. Oh, do you already see the 5 coming along? It's going to be 0. There's your 50. If it was 100, if the half was 100, it would be 50 here and 50 here. This is why 1/2 is 50%. So today, your assignments are only going to be on unit fractions. What that means is that all of your fractions are going to have a numerator of 1. And on Wednesday, we'll start getting more into this until you just get to the process where you can just do this over and over and over again, no matter what the fraction looks like. But I'm easing you into the process, okay? So let's go ahead and make another percent. All right, let's do a fourth. Let's see what a fourth looks like in a percentage. So this is 1 for every 100. What would it look like, one part, if you had 100? Okay, let's see. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our whole. If our whole was 100, right? We're gonna write 100 over here, because that's what percentage means, 4 every 100. If I had to divide it into 4 parts, what would be one part? What would be the percentage of one part? So we're looking for this part. So I want to know, what is the percentage of this part? What is 1/4 equal in percentage? So I'm going to take my 100, I'm going to break my total into 4 parts. 100. I'm going to take my total and I'm going to divide it into 4 parts. 0 on top, 0 on the bottom. 4, 8, 12. 4, 8, 2. I'm gonna have to regroup right here. It's gonna be 2. Bring down my 0. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. It's gonna be, I believe, 5. 20 on the bottom. There it is. 25%. 25%. So 25% equals 1/4. Again, it's always 100 when it's unit fractions. Now again, on Wednesday, we're going to start looking into what if it's 2/3 or what if it's 3/5. And it doesn't get any harder than this, but I want you guys to look at the unit fractions first, because this is what's happening behind those algorithms. All right, so let's go ahead and do 1/5. I want to get 1/5 into a percentage. This is my fraction. I want to get it into a percent. Remember that percent, all of that means is just a fancy word for saying, what if it was 100 instead of 5 parts, okay? So I'm going to draw my whole, and I'm going to break it up. Oh, I'm going to label it, what if it was 100? Because that's what I want to know. What if I want to know it as a percent. So I'm going to break it up into 5 equal parts. As best as I can. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I'm breaking my 100, because that's what percent is again, into 5 parts. I want to know what one of those parts looks like. I'm only doing unit fractions for today. So what would this part be if it was 100? One of all 5 parts? Well, I'm going to take my 100 and I'm going to divide it into 5 parts. Whatever my answer is, that's going to be my percent. All right, so this is your assignment. I want you guys to find the percentage of 1/10, and you don't have to draw the picture. Just go ahead and remember from our other problems that you're going to take your 100 and you're going to divide it into 10 parts. 100 divided by 10. So you would write 100 divided by 10. That's going to give you your percentage, and then you write it over here. Okay, I want you to do also 1/20. So you're going to take your 100 divided by 20. So your 100 divided by 20. Okay, so this is your assignment for today. 1/5, get that into a percentage. Get 1/10 into a percentage. Get 1/20 into a percentage, and send these to me, as well as your UPSI, order operations, and your fraction. Finally, good job. Last week, I have a special surprise for those of you that keep getting hundreds on your quizzes. I don't think we have school on Friday, but on Wednesday you're gonna have a quiz, very, very simple quiz on percentages. So I suggest you guys watch this video. I'm also gonna drop a link below on the Math Antics percentage video on Wednesday, because that's gonna give you more insight on what's up. And he has all those graphics and things that, you know, I really, really like. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Have a good one, guys. I miss you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you guys again. You have a good one.